Today we are looking at odd terms, Unit 3, and if it's going to behave, here we are. We are looking at getting the news in the high-tech age. Okay, so we are in this folder. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the quiz, because the quiz has lots of important vocabulary that we need for the listening. Yeah, if we don't do this, the listening is going to be more difficult for us. Yeah? So head over to your course page and do this, and it will give you the answers immediately. Yeah, that's the nice thing about it. It will give you a score at the end. You just need to match the word with the definition. There's some reading here. So slow this morning, so slow. Yeah. So match the word with the definition, then there's some vocabulary exercises, and then some questions for us to think about. Okay, and maybe we'll talk about these together. Yeah. So go ahead, please do the quiz, do these vocabulary exercises, and then we'll talk about this. Well, we won't talk about it together. I'll give you my opinion, basically. Yeah. So think about these questions. When you pick up a newspaper or visit a website, are you more interested in news about world events or news you can use? I'm interested in news about world events. Yeah, I'm interested about what's going on in the world. News you can use. I'm not really sure what they mean by that. What, practical news? News about the traffic? Maybe news about the traffic. Yeah? No, I'm more interested about what's going on in the world. Which is more reliable, news in a newspaper or news on the internet? There are some very unreliable newspapers. In the United Kingdom, we have a newspaper called the Daily Mail. Which is horrendously unreliable. It's full of rubbish. But there are also some very reliable websites. Yeah, BBC News is one of the most reliable. The Guardian is also quite reliable. Yes. So this is a website. This is also a print newspaper, and it's full of rubbish. It's very, very popular. I think my dad even reads this, and it's just full of rubbish. I'm a celebrity. Blech. Yeah. If you've got some time and you're bored and you're bored, you can head over to Daily Mail and you can read some of their trash. Right, how do people of your generation get the news? Of course, online, but how online? Yeah. If you want to tell me how, you can leave a comment down below. How do you think getting the news will change in the next 20 years? Interesting question. Yeah. I'm sure it will still be online. But beyond that, I don't know. Now, yeah, so here we are. So I'm using version 37 of the booklet, which for me starts around page 24. Okay, so let's make a start. The lecturer says, "Let me repeat that." You're in a lecture. You're listening carefully. The lecturer says, "Let me repeat that." What should you do? Should you do nothing? Or should you listen intensively because the information is important? Of course, we're going to listen intensively, inshallah. Yeah? If he says, "Let me repeat that," he's not repeating old, boring information. He's repeating something that's actually really quite important. Yeah? So, read this information here. Underline the language that signals important information, and then circle the important information itself. Okay? So I'll give you 30 seconds to do that, and then we can do it together. Da 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 da. So here, yeah, let's have a look at the Word document instead. drag this over. Here we go. Okay, so here I want to point out. Yeah, so this signals important information. And here, it's important to note that. Yeah. So again, signals important information. Yeah. And the important information is the kind of news they look for affects your lives. Okay, so if you're going to look for, you will find what you want to find. If you're interested in racist, sexist news, you will find racist, sexist news, and that will influence your life in that direction. If you want to find some healthy, well-being news, you can find that healthy, well-being news, and that will affect your life in that direction. Yeah. So it's important to note that reporters are now looking into trends. Okay, so this is the important information. Yes, reporters are looking into this in stores, workplaces, and even in schools. But this is the important language here. Yeah? It's important to note that, and I want to point out that. Yeah, and this is important language, and here this is important language, not just for listening, but also for speaking. If we're giving a presentation and we're trying to get some important information across, we should be using language like this to help our audience, to help the people we're speaking to better understand or better follow what we're trying to say. Yeah, so here are some more examples of language that signals important information. We can add this here, and we can add this here. Yeah, and can we think of any others? Can you think of any other examples of language we can use to signal important information? Yeah. Listen to this. This is important. You should write this down. Let me repeat that. The bottom line is, this will be on your test. Okay, very clear signal. Yeah. Yes, a nice list of important language here that we can put into our top pocket and that we can use not just when we're listening, but when we're also speaking as well. Okay, so we've done that. Now listen to part of a lecture about the news and match the sentences. Okay, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Before we listen, we should try to do some prediction. The number of hours people are online is, well, this isn't a number of hours, this isn't a number of hours, so it's probably this one. Getting the news on the internet is, well, we know it's not this one, is the third most popular. Okay, it's probably this one. More people are using the internet, not this, to get information. Okay, so we don't really need to listen, do we? If we do some prediction, we can make the listening very easy for us. But we will listen. The listening you need is in our media album. Oh dear. I can't see it. Getting. Here we are. So here, so 2 minutes 54 seconds. Okay, so this one, yeah. So go ahead, please listen and check our predictions. Come back and we'll check together. Okay, so when you've listened to that, yes, our predictions were correct. Yeah, nice and easy, that. Now, this is not so easy. Listen again. Write down the language that we hear that signals important information. Yeah? So listen, we're going to listen 2 more times. First time, write down the language we hear that signals important information. For example, some of this. Yeah? Then we're going to listen again and we'll write down the important information. But the first time, or the next time we listen, can we write down the language that signals important information? Go ahead and do that. Come back and we will check. Okay, so it's not that one. have the answers in here? No, I don't. More difficult this, but very important. Come on. Okay. To make it a bit bigger. So here, I want to point out. Yeah? So, I want to point out. Class, these are important findings. Yeah, so this is all the lecture language. So this is all the signal language, yeah? I'll say that again. This is important. I want you to notice, but listen to this. So the bottom line is, yeah? So these are all examples of signal language that signal important information. Yeah? And very, very clear, I think. Very, very understandable. Now, listen again. What is the important information? Okay, listen again. Write down what is the important information. Yeah? So we've got 7 examples. So 7 pieces of important information. Go ahead, write them down. Come back and we will check together. Okay, so what's important? The most recent, the most accurate information that we have. So it's the latest data. Now, at that time, the latest data. Class, these are important findings. So that's both kind of... So what is the important information? Well, the important information is that what she's saying is important. She's going to report on a large study. Yeah? The findings are the important information. So the important information, internet users going online 12.5 hours a week. Yeah? I'll say that again, 12.5 hours a week. So we have the same important information twice. Yeah? So this is the first one, this is the second one. I'll say that again, they're going online 12.5 hours a week. And this is important. Well, what is important? Getting the news is the 3rd most popular activity. Yeah, getting the news is the 3rd most popular activity. What I want you to notice is the increase in the number of people who are using the internet to get information. Yeah? So a big increase in the number of people using the internet. But listen to this. And then we've got some statistics. 28% of people get news focused on their interests. 33% of mobile phone users get the news on their phone. 37% contribute to the news. Yeah, so we've got 3 bits of important information here. Quite a lot to write down, yeah? So all of this short language really becomes quite useful to us. The bottom line, well, what's the bottom line? The internet is going to remain important for getting news. That's the important information. The internet's going to remain important for getting news. Right, not easy that at all, yeah? But some important language that we need to get familiar with. Yeah, language that signals important information. And like I say, important not just for listening, but also for speaking as well. Now, watch the lecture, take some notes. You've not got enough space here to take notes, so what you can do, you can head over to the bottom of your booklet where you've got 5 blank pages, or you can find some paper that you've got lying around and use that. Yeah? So watch the lecture and take some notes. The lecture is here, 9 minutes 38 seconds. So watch that, take some notes, and then try to answer these questions. Do that, come back, and we will check together, and then we're almost finished, almost. So, what's the specific focus of the lecture? Here. Changes in the way people get their news. So not getting the news, changes in the way people get their news. Yeah? Let's go back to our discussion of the news media. So this is the topic, but this is not the specific focus. And it turns out to be a very important, interesting topic. Yeah. So what I want to do today is I want to cover several aspects of this trend. Okay, so changes in the way people get the news and what this means for news. Yeah. So here we have the specific focus. Aspects of changes in the way people get their news and what these changes mean for news. So we have some very specific information here. If you just wrote down news media, or if you just got lazy and you just wrote this down, that's not correct. Yeah, that's not good enough. The specific focus, changes in the way people get their news, looking at aspects of this trend and what it means for news. And we've done some work looking at or trying to identify the organisation of a lecture. And when we hear this, we should immediately kind of partition our notes so that here, several aspects of the trend, and here, what these changes mean for the news. Yeah, we know he's going to talk about this in detail, and we know he's going to talk about this in detail. So explain these statistics. 70% of people said reading the newspaper was important. Yeah. Now this is data from 2000. Yeah, but still, 70% of people in 2000 said that reading the newspaper was important. 51%, the same data in 2003. So 51% said reading the newspaper was important. 38% of 35 to 54-year-olds who read the newspaper said it was an important part of their day. Okay, so difficult. This is difficult. Yeah. 38% of people between 35 and 54 who read the newspaper said that the newspaper was an important part of their day. Okay, that is quite difficult. Yeah. If you need to watch that part of the lecture again, please go ahead and do that. 17%. So the same question, but to younger people, 18 to 24-year-olds, said the newspaper was an important part of their day. 3 reasons people are choosing to get their news from the internet. It's more up to date. Yeah. It's more in-depth. More up to date, more in-depth, so more detailed. And it's interactive. Okay, you can comment. Yeah, you can leave a comment here if you want. Yeah. It's interactive. There's communication. There's normally a comment section. Yeah. So it's more up to date. Yeah. It's not an explanation is it's not updated just once every 24 hours. Often websites are updated every minute. Yeah, big news websites are updated every minute. It's more in depth. Yeah. You can go to a related audio link, you can keep getting more information, there are more links, and it's interactive, yeah, so the internet user controls the news. Yeah, so those are our reasons, and hopefully a good explanation as well. 3 negatives. Yes, here we go. Researchers must work very quickly. Yeah. So the news might not be as reliable as in a print newspaper. They have more time in a print newspaper. Whereas there's this rush, he says, on the internet to get something onto the website quickly. Yeah? So they must work quickly, and that can compromise quality or accuracy. Another negative, users will limit their news. So when I turn on my phone and I get my news feed, it's very predictable. Okay, it's all about snooker, and it's all about Apple computers, and it's all about kind of computer programming. Yeah, so it's very streamlined. Now that stuff is interesting to me, but there's a lot of other interesting stuff that maybe I should also be learning about. Yeah, and that's this point here. People who get their news on the internet may only learn what they want to learn, and they might miss out on other important information. Yeah, so that is an important point. Yeah, people limit their news too much. They only see what they want to see, not what they should see. And third one, another negative. All of the news is kind of the same size. Yeah. Local, international. It's like item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. Yeah. Can we have a look? So this is a news website, a very low quality news website. Now, okay, we've got some important news here. We can see that it's at the top and it's big. So we can see that this is important news, and maybe this is important. But after that, it's all the same size. God, it's so slow. All of this is the same size. Don't know which is more important. Yeah, okay, we've got an important story here. But all of this, no idea. All of this looks very, very similar. So this must be as important as this. Yeah, as important as this. So we get some sort of idea as to what's important, but all of this, I don't know. Is this important or not? These are stories, but they don't seem to be very significant stories. So it's not. And then here, a bomb shelter in his garden. So this is the same size as this news about COVID-19, yeah, which doesn't really seem to make a great deal of sense. Yeah. So that's the point they're trying to make here. Yeah, it can be difficult to know which is more important news and which is less important news, because it can all kind of look the same. Yes, you get some big titles and some medium titles and some small titles, but all of the big titles are not necessarily of equal importance. Yeah. So why does the professor show the newspaper? He shows the newspaper to show us that in a print newspaper, it's a bit easier to see where the main news is, where the most important news is, and where the secondary news is. It's less clear on the internet. What important message? What is the most important message the students should get out of the lesson? I want to stress the trend away from newspapers to the internet is happening. As students of the media, you may or may not agree with some of the problems, some of the concerns of the researchers, but it offers us a lot to think about. Okay, so we need to be aware of these problems. Yeah, we need to be aware not just of the positive aspects of getting the news, but also of the negative aspects of getting the news as well. Yeah, and we should think about that. He says as media students, he's talking to a class of media students. Right, okay, well that's that. I think we have a dictation left to do. Yes, we do. Yes, so if you can please go ahead, play the dictation, and then I will get you the answers to that dictation. So go ahead, please, play the audio, listen, write down exactly what you hear, and I will give you the answers in a minute, if I can find them. So slow. Listen, 3. For instructors or for assessments? Yeah, I'm sure you would like to look in the assessment folder. For instructors, auto terms, science and technology, getting the news. Okay, and here are your answers. Right. So spelling is important. Basic punctuation is important. Yes, we hear some contractions. Alright guys, there we go. Right, well if you found this video useful, please leave a thumbs up. If you found it not useful, leave a thumbs down. Yeah. If you have any comments, you can leave those in the comment section below as well. Alright guys, well until next time, goodbye for now. Bye bye.